Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Asia Sharma. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 12th of July. 3 militants killed in Indian Kashmir a day after attack on pilgrims. Pakistan Prime Minister rejects findings in corruption probe. Good performance lands 2 Afghani sisters in French cycling club. And now for all the details. 3 militants were killed by security forces in an encounter in Budgam district of India's Kashmir on Wednesday. The encounter comes a day after 7 pilgrims were killed in a militant attack in the province.
Security forces on Wednesday killed 3 militants in an encounter in Budgam district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province. Based on a tip-off about presence of militants in a house in the village of Budgam, a joint operation was launched by the police and paramilitary forces on Tuesday evening. Militants opened fire while the security forces were laying a cordon and a gun battle ensued.
पूरी रात ऑपरेशन चला तो in the morning we killed 3 militants. उन तीनों की बॉडी रिकवर हो गई हैं और उनके पास से हमें वेपन रिकवर हुए हैं, एक SLR रिकवर हुई है, एक पिस्टल रिकवर हुई है। घर क्योंकि उस ऑपरेशन के दौरान उसमें आग लग गई थी तो उसकी घर की अभी सर्च पूरी नहीं हो पाई है।
The encounter comes a day after 7 pilgrims were killed in a militant attack in Anantnag town of Kashmir. India accuses Pakistan of pushing in militants from its part of Kashmir to carry out attacks, a charge denied by Islamabad.
More news from India. A batch of more than 3,000 pilgrims on Wednesday left for the Amarnath Cave Shrine in India's Kashmir amid heavy security. The Hindu pilgrimage resumed on Tuesday, a day after terrorists opened fire at a bus carrying pilgrims, killing 7 of them in an attack.
Two days after the terror attack on pilgrims, a batch of 3,744 pilgrims, the largest so far, left for the Amarnath Cave Shrine in India's Kashmir amid heavy security on Wednesday. Devotees remained unfazed by the militant attack and broke into loud chants hailing Lord Shiva and danced as they set out for the pilgrimage. The pilgrims were accompanied by heavily armed police and security personnel. On Monday, 7 pilgrims were killed and 12 wounded in the firing by militants on their bus near the town of Anantnag.
अभी तो और ज्यादा होगी जी, अगर ऐसे कायर अगर ऐसी वारदात करेंगे तो यात्रा बढ़ती ही जाएगी, कम नहीं होगी.
Meanwhile, India's senior ministers visited the pilgrims' camp in Srinagar city of Indian Kashmir to assess the situation.
No, see, government is making its own assessment. The security agencies have their own way of doing things, and I think we should leave it to the wisdom of the experts. They are drawing their inferences, and depending upon whatever inferences they draw, the political establishment will take a call and provide all kind of support to them.
A search is on for a Lashkar-e-Taiba operative called Mohammad Abu Ismail, who is believed to have planned and led Monday's terror attack. Reports suggest that Ismail, a Pakistani national, infiltrated into India about 2 years ago and has been operating in South Kashmir.
Moving on to news from Pakistan, the joint investigation team formed to investigate corruption allegations against Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's family recommended filing of a corruption case. With the Supreme Court to now decide whether to proceed for a trial, Sharif's fate hangs in a balance.
Pakistani Prime Minister met his allies and denounced the findings by Joint Investigation Team or JIT, vowing to clear his name. Judicial investigators ruled his family had accumulated unusual wealth after the JIT, set up by Pakistan's Supreme Court, spent 2 months looking into the family's wealth, gave its findings to the court on Monday. The JIT report said Sharif could not satisfactorily answer most of the questions during his appearance on June 15. Sharif's allies dismissed all the allegations against him and the report.
और हम ये कानूनी जंग इंशाअल्लाह ताला अदालत उस्मा में लड़ेंगे, भरपूर लड़ेंगे। इसमें किसी को कोई शक शुबा नहीं होना चाहिए। एक एक करके हर इल्जाम को जो है हम डिमोलिश करेंगे और जितनी लीगल ऑप्शंस हमें अवेलेबल हैं हम सारी एक्सरसाइज करेंगे। ये इस कहानी का इख्तिताम नहीं हुआ, अभी तो कहानी शुरू हुई है।
In the report which has been leaked to media, the team alleges Sharif's family accumulated wealth far above its earnings. It added his children, including Maryam Sharif, signed falsified documents designed to mask the truth. The 6-member team suggests that a corruption case should be filed against Sharif and his children. Meanwhile, opposition leader Imran Khan said Sharif had lost all moral authority and must resign immediately.
Meanwhile, protesters staged a demonstration against non-payment of salaries in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Retired personnel also joined the protest in large numbers to demand their rightful pensions.
Employees of a corporation in Pakistan-administered Kashmir came down on the streets of Muzaffarabad to demand their unpaid salaries. The retired personnel of the organization are the worst affected as they have not received their pensions and other retirement benefits.
सुबह शाम 10 चक्कर है ना, ये मेरे को अस्पताल दे कागज 8 पेशेंट ना, 4 पेशेंट मेरे गुजर भी हो चुके, 33 साल सर्विस की थी है, रिटायरमेंट में आज तक कोई ना पेंशन कोई नहीं, तनख्वाह भी कोई नहीं।
The condition is no different for those who are presently working there. For over 6 months, employees haven't received their salaries. Those with families are facing the most difficult times.
हमें 6 माह से तनख्वाहें नहीं मिली हैं और ये हुआ कि हमारी जो अपग्रेडेशन और प्रमोशनें करनी थी वो भी अफसरों की प्रमोशनें उन्होंने 18वें और 19वें स्केल वालों की कर दी। हमारे आगे जो छोटे मुलाजमीन थे उनके लिए पाबंदी लगा दी और हर 3 महीने बाद हमें एक तनख्वाह दे देते हैं और वो निस्ब जो है वो बैंक वाले लोगों ने लोन लिया हुआ है, बैंक वाले काट लेते हैं।
The locals of Pakistan-administered Kashmir have for long been denied their fundamental rights, but to no avail. The indifferent attitude of the Pakistani establishment has further delusioned the people of the illegally occupied territory.
Moving on to news from Afghanistan, Afghan President Ashraf Ghani has rejected accusation that he is consolidating his political power. These accusations come amid political rifts within the presidential palace and also expansions of his mainstream political rivals.
Afghan President Ashraf Ghani has rejected accusations by opponents of him trying to centralize power within the presidential palace. Ghani has, however, called on his political opponents to come forward and present their recommendations for reforms. On referring to a statement by CEO Abdullah Abdullah's second deputy that Ghani shouted at officials in the National Security Council meetings, he said government officials must respect the rules of governance in their speeches.
هر کس که پیشنهاد اصلاحات داره دا گز دا میدان اگر از پیشنهادم برای همه همکارایی که نامه‌شو نگرفتین بیارین یک پروژه 500 میلیون دلاری را تامین کنید.
Ghani's remarks come days after leaders from 3 mainstream Afghan political parties, Jamiat-e-Islami, Hizb-e-Wahdat-e-Islami and Junbish-e-Milli Party agreed to establish a coalition to rescue Afghanistan. Meanwhile, a senior member of former warlord Gulbuddin Hekmatyar's Hizb-e-Islami labelled the coalition as suspicious move but conveyed that his party would support any step which is taken for national unity and national interests.
Staying on news from Afghanistan, 2 girls from Afghanistan's national cycling team were inducted by a French cycling club. While the 2 sisters are preparing ahead in France, the team back home says it would be difficult to replace the talent.
2 Afghan sisters have been bought by a French cycling club in Albi, France following their tremendous performance in a French tour last year. Masuma Alizada and Zahra Alizada joined the French club after a year of negotiations between their family and the Afghanistan Cycling Federation. This is the first time that the 2 Afghan cyclists have been bought by a French club. Afghanistan Cycling Federation officials said they are now looking to fill 2 places left vacant by the departure of the sisters on the national team.
این تا دختر ما در بین 600 یا 700 ورزشکار تونستن به مقام دوم و سوم دست پیدا بکنن. جهان تعجب کرد، خود فرانسوی‌ها تعجب کرد. همون کلاب حلبی که در فرانسه هست سخت علاقه‌مند نظر شدن و اینا را بالاخره آهسته به شکل اشکال راضی ساختن تا اینا را خریداری بکنن برای همیشه و با تمام اعضای فامیلشان برن دیگر در فرانسه.
The 2 girls were members of the national team for 5 years and brought home 1 gold medal, 2 silvers and a bronze medal from different tours, including tours to India, France, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, South Korea and Bahrain. One of the members said the absence of 2 cyclists would be a huge loss for the national squad.
In news from Nepal, Nepal's Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba has started working on expanding his cabinet. A joint task force of the ruling Nepali Congress and CP and Maoist Center has been assigned to allocate the ministries. Deuba and Maoist Center Chairman Pushpa Kamal Dahal had earlier reached an agreement to expand the cabinet only after amending the constitution. However, after the opposition's refusal to extend support to constitution amendment, the governing parties on Tuesday decided not to put the bill to vote in parliament as they lacked the required numbers to pass it. Deuba has been leading an 8-member cabinet since he was elected Prime Minister on June 7. He is under mounting pressure to expand the cabinet in view of the task his government has to perform in the next few months. Meanwhile, floods due to incessant rain in India's northeastern Assam province have also affected the wildlife in Kaziranga National Park, home to endangered one-horned rhinos. Authorities said they are geared up to handle the situation as flood levels are expected to rise.
Floods due to heavy rains in India's northeastern Assam province have left large parts of Kaziranga National Park submerged in water. Incessant monsoon rains in the tea and the oil-rich province of Assam have forced the burgeoning Brahmaputra river and its tributaries to burst their banks. More than 20 of the region's 32 districts have been affected. The rains kill several animals in Kaziranga every year. The floods also leave the animals more vulnerable to poaching.
We have seen rhinos and deers as well as elephants which have migrated to the upper sides towards Karbi Angal Hills, and almost 102 camps out of 178 camps are being affected by water, and our staffs are on high alert, and so we are expecting more higher flood levels in coming days, and so we are gearing up for it.
On Monday, 6 hog deer was reportedly killed in the floods in the animal sanctuary due to drowning. Flooding is an annual problem due to monsoon season in South Asia, but the impact has been worsened by crumbling civic infrastructure, clogged drains and uncontrolled urban expansion.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. 3 militants killed in Indian Kashmir a day after attack on pilgrims. Pakistan Prime Minister rejects findings in corruption probe. Good performance lands 2 Afghani sisters in French cycling club. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.